All right, welcome back to another recap, guys. I'm going to show you guys how I made $10,000 across all 10 of my evaluations. I have 5 Top Step accounts, and then I also have 5 My Funded Futures accounts. All right. Also, I'm going to pop up some certificates on the screen for you guys here, just so you guys can see that I'm not lying about actually being able to day trade, being profitable, and being able to actually take profits outside of the markets, right? Basically just robbing NQ for the fun of it, right? So anyway, same thing as last time. Let's look at the hourly here. So if we look at the hourly, right, you see that there's liquidity right here, right? So liquidity is basically like a draw on the chart where market wants to go to. So think of it as like a gravitational pull. So you guys got to look at it like this. We were up to, I mean, if we use the replay mode, I can show you guys, like we were starting, right? We were up here, right, at one point, right? Understanding liquidity, you understand this is a drawn liquidity. This is a drawn liquidity as well, right? What happens? Oh, we take that out and we take this out. Just something to keep in mind. So yes, there's other draws on liquidity. You have ones all the way down here. You have ones down here. We also took out this one too, right? So there's a lot of draws on liquidity. Just want to show you guys how that works, right? And in today's video, we're going to go over how I took a continuation trade across all of my accounts. And this is a really good teaching moment for you guys to understand how I take continuation trades, because it is a little bit different than everybody else. So let's go back on replay mode here, right? Select the bar. Let's go back to the 9:30 candle. All right. Sort of like the same thing as last time. We want to see what direction we're going in. So we are going down, right? Sorry, I don't feel like using arrows, right? We're going down, okay? We take out the Asia session low. Literally the absolute low for Asia session, right? This isn't just like a hourly low. This is Asia session itself. So at this point, I'm like, all right, bet. We're probably going to want to go back up. And what happens? We end up going back up. We have a reversal at this point. This is what we would call a early reversal. Why? Because it happened at 9:40. So at this point, you don't hit the trade button, right? You don't just hit buy and say, all right, we're going up, because we haven't seen enough evidence that we really want to go up. So what we want to do here is we want to watch and just kind of just, almost like think of Call of Duty, like you're hard scoping, you're camping, you're just watching what market wants to do for the next, I would say maybe 15 minutes, right? So what we're going to want to see here is, do we want to continue up? Do we want to have a retrace down, then continue up? Or do we want to continue down? Or do we want to continue down, fake out everyone right here, and take out the liquidity right here and then continue up, right? For whatever reason, which wouldn't have been a bad guess due to the fact that we took out this liquidity. But going back to the hourly, we really, really, really wanted to take out all of these, lows, right? This liquidity. So going back to the 5-minute time frame here, right? As you guys see, my ugly drawing. Let's get rid of that, right? All right, so we came up. At this point, we're seeing, okay, what market wants to do? Okay, remember, one of the possibilities that I just said could happen just happened. So we came back down. So at this point, we're like, all right, let's still be patient, because maybe we want to go back up. And this isn't a battle of up and down forever until 2 in the afternoon. No, I mean, right now it's only 1:20 p.m. I'm a quick pace trader, so I'm either going to be right or wrong fairly quickly. So, by the time 9:50, we get this early reversal right over here. Then we have a move back down. I like to call this the setup. The move back down after the early reversal, I like to call the setup, right? So let's type that out here. The move after the early reversal is called the setup. And I call it the setup. Why? Because what is it setting up? Well, it's setting up a possibility for, like we said, another reversal back up, right? Because maybe market truly wants to just go bullish for the day, but it wants to manipulate first, then go back up. Now you'll see that we were actually wrong with that theory today, and we ended up going in the same direction. And that isn't a bad thing, right? You can still take a trade if market decides to be directional in one direction, as it was today before we decided to go back up. Okay, so, oops. All right, so from here, we're waiting. Okay, it's 9:55. What's going on in my head right now is, okay, I want to see if we have this second reversal back up by the time 10:10, right? Which, like we talked about in the previous video, when the candle says 10:10, it's really closing at 10:15 real time, which means on a 1 minute time frame, you would be waiting until 10:15. And that is when we would want to enter if we have yet to see a sort of reversal back up. So cool, right? So at this point, it is now, well, there you guys see, kind of spoiled it. We ended up not reversing, but let me show you guys what I do at 10:05 because it's something very important to make sure I catch this continuation trade. So let's go back here. Let's just select up to 10:05, okay? What we do once the market hits 10:05, we go on the 1 minute time frame. And I like to look for some sort of liquidity in this area. And I don't like to look for any liquidity before 9:50, right? So let's look for liquidity that is a draw within, you know, anytime 9:55 had passed. So 9:55 starts here. So okay. Boom. No, actually, I'm sorry. It's not the one I ended up marking out. It was this. There we go. Okay. So we have, because remember, I'm like redrawing everything I already had on this chart. So bear with me. Okay. So we have this liquidity right here. We sweep it, right? So we would likely want to see it move back down, which is what we sort of get. So at this point, after you mark that out, you want to see some sort of inverse fair value gap or break of structure. We get a break of structure, right? And we get it right here. Sorry, because we entered it on this one. All right, guys. So yeah, we get a break of structure, right? We either want to see an inverse or a break of structure. We get a break of structure. So at this point, we're going to mark out an equilibrium. And I apologize. I noticed rewatching my last video, I didn't say the name of this tool. So you go over here and it's called the GAN box, right? I have it starred, of course, but you basically, if you guys want my settings, just let me know. Here, I can actually probably just pop it up for you guys here. Just copy that, right? So these are basically tools that you can use to figure out if price wants to retrace off of, right? So we have this break of structure right here. And usually we would go with equilibrium right there, which is why I mentioned it. And we would probably just mark out from this low up to this high. And what we want to see is some sort of retrace into it and then reversal downwards because we're trying to take a continuation off. But now we're on the 1 minute. So now we're able to find these very low retracements. But today I saw something even more obvious, which I'm sure even you beginners can clearly see without me saying anything. And there is a clear, obvious fair value gap. And that was my bingo go ahead that once we hit 10:15, which is really the 10:10 candle closing on the 5 minute, once we hit this time, right? And we still have yet to see a reversal up, then we can go down for a quick aggressive trade. And that's exactly what ended up happening. So let's go back to the 5 minute. Let's close the 10:10 trade. Look how massive that trade was, by the way, or that candle, right? Let's go back to the 1 minute. And then, as you see, let's go one more over. Once it hit 10:15, we entered. And we entered for a 1-2-1, right? So let's put our stop loss at 100 ticks. That's roughly 100. It's all good. And then we have our take profit at 100 ticks. And as you guys see, literally the second 10:15 hit, this is how quick the trade was. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4-second trade. This is what I mean about how aggressive and how consistent this strategy is, guys. And this is how I take continuations on a daily basis, especially if we don't have those very obvious reversals. Like a lot of people will look at a market like this and be like, dang, how do I catch a trade in this? Well, it comes down to scaling down to the 1 minute and seeing what's really going on behind the scenes. Think of the 1 minute as you're seeing what's going on behind the scenes. The 5 minute as where you truly want to get your bias from, and think of anything other than that as just an obvious stronger bias for what's going on throughout the day, right? And then as you guys can see after that, if we just like continue with how the trading day went, we actually we actually end up going back up to where the stop loss was. What does that say? That's actually such an aggressive setup. Like this is literally something so quick. This is a trade that you literally see the result in seconds. And this is why I love it, because I'm not really a fan of, trades where I'm trying to like go all the way down here, because it's like your stop loss placement has to be very, very good for that. But I understood I'm okay with having a very tight stop loss because I also have a tight take profit. So these trades tend to happen very fast and quick. And today we had the lucky end of the stick and it hit our take profit within seconds. And then market continued to go down afterwards. And then we also ended up going back up for the day. Here, I can show you guys if we leave the replay mode. Yep. So look, it took a while, but after, look, one fake out, we eventually went back up. And now we're like rallying back up slowly but surely. But that is pretty much the trade I took today. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That's the trade I took, and that is how I would have saw the markets. Well, how I did see the markets today, and yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So yeah, appreciate you guys. To catch you guys in the next one. You guys showed love to the last recap, so hope you guys show love to this one as well, and hope you guys can learn from these. Okay, all right, stay blessed and peace.